Hello my lovelies! Today I'm gonna play with Selena Gomez's new makeup line, Rare Beauty. She just came out with her beauty line in Sephora, I believe it was September 3rd, right? And there is a whole background to why she created this, why she named it Rare Beauty, and let's just get into it. I do want to say nothing in her range, in her brand, is over $30. The most expensive is $29, and that is her foundation. This right here. I picked up 2 shades, and I did purchase everything from Sephora online, and it came rather quick actually. And this, like I said, retails for $29, and this is her Liquid Touch Weightless Foundation. I picked up shade 120C and 140C. So let's go in with the primer first, because she also has Always an Optimist Illuminating Primer, and this retails for $26, and they do have a mini version for $14. I already have my skin set with my skincare, and I'm just gonna use this and see if it's gonna give a nice glow from within. Okay, I'm just trying this on the back of my hand, and I already can tell it feels nice. I like how it feels. To me, this is not my typical type of primer I would reach for, just because it has, like it says, those pearls, and it's very glittery. So I would only put this like on like the high points of my face where I want it to glow from within. So for example, a little bit like right here, like I'm doing right now. Maybe a little bit like right here, but I wouldn't put it all over my face like in my T-zone area, just because I don't really want to glow there. Let's move on to the foundation. Like I said, I found my shade. So I'm gonna shake this, and it does have like a little ball inside. Yeah, the packaging is really nice. I really like the doe foot applicator, honestly. It feels almost oily. And I do have her sponge I picked up, and the Liquid Touch brush for foundation. The sponge is $14, and the Liquid Touch foundation brush is $28. Ooh, that feels really nice. I do want to try this sponge first, because this texture is really interesting. It's nothing like a beauty blender or a beauty sponge. It's very, see how flexible and malleable and just squishy it is? And it is wet. They do say to wet it and squeeze most of the water out. And it's really interesting. The shape is really interesting. So I kind of want to try out this right here and see if it's going to blend it out nicely, or if it's just going to pick up a lot of the product. Oh yeah, I definitely need way more foundation than that. For how many drops I use, this is definitely a very light coverage. Yeah, see, it's definitely soaking up a lot of product. The sponge is very porous. Yeah, this took away a lot of the coverage. With the brush is really nice. I'm just gonna pat it in. Oh my goodness, I like this brush a lot. I'm very picky with my foundation brushes, and this one is nice. Oh yeah, you get way more coverage with the brush, obviously. And I think it looks better on my skin than the sponge side, the way it's sitting. Okay, if anything, you guys, right away, I would pick up this foundation brush. I know it's $28, but good brushes, they're worth the investment. Wow, this is really nice. It's so soft. The foundation has a lot of playing time. I'm still touching it, and a lot of foundation is picking up. It feels a little greasy, a little oily. I'm not sure how I'm gonna like this. I really hope it sets a little bit more. So the next is her Brow Harmony Pencil and Gel, and I picked up in shade Soft Blonde, and this retails for $22. And this has the pencil on one side, which is right here, and it's this really interesting, it looks kind of like a teardrop in a way. It's very fascinating. And then on this other side, you have the gel. So it doesn't come with the spoolie. It does obviously have a spoolie, but it has product as gel on the spoolie, so you do need to have a separate spoolie on somewhere else around you if that's what you're looking for. Let me brush out my brows. So I'm gonna try to use the pointy end and see if I can create something a little bit more precise. This seems to match my hairs pretty well, actually. Wow, this is very pigmented. I have to use like the slightest hand. It's very blendable also. I could even like blend it with my finger. All right, and I'm gonna go in with the other side for the gel. I like how tiny the spoolie is. Like, it's super tiny. It looks like a very nice neutral color. Okay, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The pencil portion of this, it's a little too creamy for me and it doesn't really hold its shape. So that's one thing I'm gonna dock some points off, just because personally for me, I like a very precise point, if I can have that, to really kind of get in there and create hair-like strokes, because with something like this thick, and the way it's so creamy, it kind of just starts melting all together, and you can't really create such a fine, precise hair stroke. But I like the color. I like that it's very pigmented, it's very creamy, and I think a lot of people will enjoy that pencil. And next we're gonna go in with the concealer. I picked up 2 shades from the concealer. This is her Liquid Touch Brightening Concealer. I picked up shade 120C and 140C. And this is a lightweight hydrating concealer with cake-free, medium to full coverage that lasts while brightening skin with a radiant finish. That's very bright, very bright. Still bright, but I like that. We'll see how bright that is. She also came out with a Liquid Touch concealer brush, and this brush retails for $16. It's really soft. I like how tiny it is. Wow, this is very, very, very bright. But it's a little bit thicker than the foundation. I'm trying to really kind of pat this in. I would say it's a good solid light to medium coverage with how many drops I used. And I'm just very lightly going over that to make sure it's blended onto the cheeks. You know what I need? I need a lip balm. And she actually came out with lip balms as well. And this lip balm retails for $16, and I got shade Praise. Look how cute this is. The packaging is really sweet, and it's just like a typical kind of like a circular lip balm lipstick. Oh wow, it's very pigmented. Whoa. Feels nice though. Hopefully this can moisturize my lips. Moving on, I think I might need to set the concealer just because it's a little dewy. At least I'm going to set my eyelids with a little bit of bronzer that I'm going to use. She doesn't have a bronzer, so I'm just gonna use my own bronzer. This is by Surat Beauty, and I apply the lip balm right now just because I am going to apply her matte lip souffle cream. So I wanna make sure I have something hydrating underneath. Next, we have her Perfect Strokes eyeliner, and it's liquid, and it has a matte finish, and there was only 1 shade, which is black. Doesn't it look like a calligraphy pen, or like a very fancy pen? You open it up right here, and that's what it looks like. And it has like a nice, thick liquid eyeliner applicator. Interesting. We'll see how I like it. And this retails for $19. Okay, let's see. I think I do want to line most of my lash line. I think the tip of this pen is really nice, but the rest of the pen, the tip, it's a little thicker for my liking. Woo, that's a sharp wing. It's a big wing, bigger than I wanted. One thing I do want to say, it has definitely a matte finish, but the one thing I noticed was when I was trying to build pigment, it was creating a little bit of bald patch, and you can kind of see it right in the outer corner. So I have to go back in and just basically go over on top of that. And she does not have a mascara, so I'm gonna apply my own mascara. I'm gonna use M Cosmetics. This is her new Pick Me Up mascara, and I've been trying it out. Okay, eyes are done, and I do wanna say I'm excited for these ones. These are her Soft Pinch liquid blushes, and I picked up 3 shades, and these retail for $20 each. One of them I picked up is matte, and the other 2 are dewy. I picked up Bliss in matte, Joy and Happy in dewy. So you have 2 different finishes, which is really intriguing. I've never had a matte cream blush before, or like a liquid blush before, which is so fascinating. I'm gonna take Bliss, which is the matte formula. A little bit of that. and a little bit of Joy. I'm curious what's gonna happen with the two textures. One here, and here. And I'm going to use a brush. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay, never mind. Use my fingers quickly. That matte formula really likes to set fast. Like I said, a little goes a long way. Whoa. And I'm going to use her liquid Positive Light Liquid Luminizers, and I picked up 2 shades, Enchant and Enlighten, and these retail for $22. Wow, look at these two, stunning. So this right here is Enchant, stunning. It has like that beautiful pink, and then this one is a gold highlight. Whoa, whoa. Okay, this is basically a very intense liquid highlighter, but this kind of reminds me of her primer, but not as intense. You know what I mean? Because it has that very similar like pearly finish. I'm just doing very light swipes. And I'm just gonna work one side at a time just to make sure I have enough playing time. I'm just gonna go over with the sponge just to make sure it's all blended in. I feel like it looks better when you use like a dampened sponge on top of it, kind of to help blend it out. I'm gonna quickly apply some bronzer because she doesn't have a bronzer or a contour. So I'm just gonna use my Surratt Beauty, and this is powder formula. That's why I'm gonna use it last. Okay, so like I said, I picked up some lip colors. Her Lip Souffle Matte Cream, and I picked up 2 shades. There are 12 colors to choose from, and they each retail for $20. And I picked up red shades just because, you know, fall is coming and I love red shades in the fall. I could probably use both of them to kind of contour the dark one, contour the outside, and use this in the center. I think I might actually do that. That's a very, very comfortable formula. Wow. And I'm just gonna put the shade Inspire in the center. All right, and last but not least, I got her Blot and Glow Touch-Up Kit. So you have blotting sheets. I think there's 100 of them. And then you have this powder puff that has powder infused into the puff, and it's like glowy powder. And both of these are repurchase. You can repurchase these, but you get the compact like this. That's really nice. So you can take this with you on the go. You have a big size mirror right here, which actually looks really nice. And yeah, before I go on with my day, I do want to say one thing about the foundation. I'm not really liking how it's sitting on my skin now that it has had time to sit on my skin while I was applying the rest of my makeup products. I'm not really liking it in particular with this moisturizer, but this moisturizer, I use it with pretty much every other foundation that I rotate, and every other foundation looks beautiful with this moisturizer underneath. This foundation, it's not liking it. It's kind of just like sitting on top, and it's already separating on my smile lines and my fine lines, and on the texture where I have texture, it's literally separating on the texture. So I kind of have to go back in and like pat it in, which is totally fine, but that's one thing. Like you can see it sitting on the skin. I'm gonna take this with me and my lip creams, my matte lip creams, and we're gonna go on with our day. I'm doing my first update. It's around 1:30ish. I've had this on for several hours and I have some things to say. Lipstick is definitely not long wearing. It might be long wearing if you put nothing underneath. It's a comfortable formula. I'm gonna reapply it. I did have lunch just now. I had a sandwich and it kind of came off. The eyeliner actually looks pretty good. I was kind of scared that it's gonna start transferring into my crease, but it hasn't. I still am not a fan of the foundation, the way it's sitting on my skin, but I'm going to use that powder and the refresher blotting sheets and just see if that will kind of refresh the makeup look. I'm gonna reapply my lips. We're on. I've had this full face of Rare Beauty makeup on my face for more than 10 hours. And I want to say my final first impression thoughts. So, last time you guys saw me, it was around 1:30ish, and I reapplied the lipstick. We had dinner, and this is how the lipstick is looking. I want to say it's not long wearing by any means. It's Not my favorite formula as it wears on, and then once you layer it, if there's still a little bit product left over, it kind of likes to settle if you have wrinkles or fine lines on your lips, which I do. I have very wrinkly lips. What can I say? I feel bad for saying things that I'm not liking. Let me put a quick disclaimer. If some things don't work on me, they might work on you. And then if they work on you, they might not work on me. So if I don't like a certain product, it's just my opinion, the way they sit on my skin, the way they look on my skin, you know, the way they wear, and you might like it a different way. So I'm just telling you how it reacted with my skin. And the foundation, I think honestly it's my least favorite product here, and the concealer. I think it looks fine from far away. But once you start getting close, you can see where it's really separated, where it's cracked, and it's literally just sitting on the skin. It looks oily and it looks dry at the same time in a lot of areas. I think my favorite product, definitely blushes. These are beautiful, and I mean, I wanna pick up all of the shades just because they're so pretty. And first of all, the packaging is stunning. I love all of her packaging. I love her aesthetic. I love her message behind this brand. I love what she stands for. And I think these blushes are stunning, very pigmented, very easy to work with. The only one that was a little bit harder to work with was Bliss, the matte formula. It kind of sets really quick, but a little goes a long way. And if you have a little playing time, go for it and blend it out. They're beautiful. And I think my next favorite product is her brush. I like both of these brushes. I didn't think I was gonna be such a fan, but the shape of it, it looks small for a foundation brush, but it's just such a perfect shape, and it's so soft, but it's dense at the same time. It blends in everything beautifully, and it doesn't leave like streaks on the face. Not really a fan of the sponge. It eats up way too much product. I'm still a beauty blender gal. I'm obsessed with them. I think they're incredible, and yeah. I'm excited to see what else she comes out with. Please let me know if you have tried this brand. What is your favorite product and why? But for now, you guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video very soon. Bye. Little Emma's entertaining daddy over there.